I was re-listening to this guy's fucking brights, man. That's I'll get to what most people, right? There we go. Re-listening to I must have listened to it probably at least 50 times. I forget your name, but the guy on the Rotten Tomatoes channel. Thank you so much again. I was listening to Nietzsche on Solitude, and I'll put the description, the link in the description. But yeah, the majority will not see the few chosen. There's a good chance that they do see, but that's not their program. There's a part that just like really, sorry, this superfluous fucking idiot over here, the loud car. You know, look at me, I need attention. Showman type, right? Part that really stuck out to me, it goes, to overthrow, that means to them to prove. To bring to frenzy, for them, that means to persuade. I'll say it time. That guy with the really small dick over there, fucking, alright, we're all paying attention, you do have a small dick. I mean, that's really like, when you have something like that, that's what you're bringing attention to, that you have a very small penis. Anyways. To overthrow, to them, that means to prove. To bring to frenzy, that means to them to persuade. And that's like, say the people that have been kind of like in the truth community, we've been trying to show, but see, the people that want to move forward, like to them to overthrow, like if you're going up and you want everyone else to go up with you, if they can knock you down in any single way possible, then they're like, I have proved myself, I am powerful. If they bring to frenzy, like your mind like all fucked up, it doesn't matter if you're like family member or whatever, but if they can get you, then they've persuaded you, they have power. Yes. And it's really fucking sick, man. But see, that's one of the things is like they do want the proximity of your skin and your blood so they can feed off you. If they can make you like sick, like them, and often in some way, like they transfer their sickness or their issue onto you, for you to transmute it for them. Because everything is energy. That's like, you learn a lot when you start to see that everything is just energy. So, you know, a lot of the things that I've been being able to see, I've been trying to show others, because this, you know, we're programmed with look out for others, and it just winds up torturing you. And see, they enjoy that though. Like they don't want to prove, and like, especially if you're right, no, they want to knock you down. They want to bring your head into a frenzy. And like, yes, I did something. We're going nowhere, but I feel like I did something. They got their drug fix. And one of my issues, like the deep-seated things, is like, okay, am I suffering enough am I suffering enough to be acceptable? That's from my mother. Like, because the cross does represent death and suffering. And if you're doing right, the premise of like, say, the one that programmed me the most, my mother, is if you're moving up, there's something wrong with you. And her whole thing, like, she's done this multiple times, is like, as I'm like saying being really, really healthy or whatever, fucking overthrow me, where I like fall back down and okay, I'm no longer healthy, and then she's like, she's got some sort of other issue where she's like, oh, why don't you start being more healthy, whatever. That's a way for her not to address her own issue and then put it on me. See, one of the things is like, say with her, is she's got a fear of being alone. I don't mind naturally being alone, but I'm also really good socially. But see, when had me overthrown, like dethroned and put into a frenzy, now I'm in the proximity, and it's like she no longer has that feeling of fear of being alone and what happens if I don't belong. And I unconsciously have been, say, one of the things in a program where it's like, am I suffering enough to be accepted by her finally? And people, or like, it's not even her, but it's like this, am I suffering enough to be accepted? You know? It's fucking weird. Like, that might sound weird, like, saying it like that, but like, you know, you do it too, like, humbled, or like, you show that, like, oh, I suffered too, so that way people accept you. That's sick, man. Like, just like most of the things that have been going on are sick. But see, the showmen and the people which, like, honor the showmen, not the true creators. And, like, the world, whether the passing one or this new one that's coming, does revolve. Like, I see how, like, just, I don't even say anything, like, things going, and then, like, things just start happening. It's fucking awesome. What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, so these poisonous flies did, you know, because the weak had inherited the earth, and now Earth is sick of them. Um, they had gained control, and everything was flipped upside down and twisted, and they went too far. Like, they had overthrown, and they're teaching bullshit, and they had to go a little bit, and it woke us up, and now there's no reversing it. And don't expect, because most people are the poisonous flies. The way we will regain control as we're known as the leaders, right? Because what we've known so far as leaders, they're not the brave, they're not the courageous, they're not, generally speaking, not the ones who are worthy of it. Basically, they've been the biggest complainers. That's how they got to become the leaders. Look at police officers. They do head to some emergency calls, but they actually create more emergencies than they respond to. Because when they're pulling you over, you have to stop, or else ultimately they'll murder you. They're creating an emergency for you over bullshit, so they can plan your taillights out. Who gives a fuck? Did anything happen? No. They create more emergencies than they respond to. And they, like, when they're doing it, it's just complaining over just superfluous BS. That's why cops are like bad girlfriends, just with a gun. They go out of their way to complain and nag and make your life a living hell. They, when you're around them, they cost you money and freedom. They can never let go of some trumped up charge that they can't pull out of their ass, right? And there's a bunch of other reasons, but so yeah, leaders and authority is the ones that begin just complaining. Look at Congress. They never do anything good, and they can never pass a bill unless if it's to take away your freedom, because false sense of order through prohibitions and restrictions. Oh yeah, it would be good to just take away more of their freedom. And it occurred to me recently that the government, of course, it's a lie and a liar. Spider-Man exists more than any government. But the government employees, they're not serving anyone other than their type. Like, the life-weary cowards, the frightened, fearful conformists, that's who is asking the government to do these kind of things, and will follow the government with these type of mandates. And that's what the government's doing. Ultimately, like, it's just, they're not authority to me at all. But, like, that's who they're serving. That's it. But ultimately, they might be serving us too, because, like, say with the whole needlecraft, they start dying off, which supposedly they are, then good, because we don't want them here. The Earth doesn't want them here anymore. So that's part of what's going on. Maybe dying off, whatever. And it's also to like say what's also dying off is their authority and the bullshit like all men are equal. All men are not equal. It's absolutely apparent to my type now. So we are gaining control. They're losing and we're gaining. And one of the things we're gaining is stop wasting our energy trying to prove anything to them. They don't want things proved. They don't want to fix anything. If anything, they want to dismantle, to dethrone, to is for them to prove. To bring the frenzy is for them. That's to persuade, and that makes total sense. Like a lot of these people that we've been dealing with that's just the way they are, and we are fashioned from clay. That's one of the part of the Bible that is right. It's pretty clear. Everything, see, to me, matter is here because of consciousness, whatever consciousness is. It's here because we're here. We do have the ability, unlike Matt, who I do like his channel, but he brings in like really good aspects, but then he slides in or tries to his death worship. That screw this, blah blah blah. Can't wait till death. And then like people, like you just know that this is a blink of a blink of a blink. It doesn't matter if it was a blink, blink, blink. Take this fucking seriously. Try to do better. Don't be a fucking coward and wait for fucking death. That's the same Abrahamic teachings. The underlying thing of the Abrahamic teaching is death. Wait for your death. And it's a one size fits all. Better do this or else God will send you to hell forever. So all must be like fit in these codes. Like that's held us back so much, man. But it doesn't matter because we go backwards and then we shoot forwards. So we're fashioned from clay, which means everything else is fashioned from clay. Don't try to prove this to anyone. The way you would prove it is the ones that will be left after, like say things like the needlecraft. As we get better in our own craft, which is crafting ourselves, it'll become just totally like undeniable. Like there's no way possibly they could deny it. And then that's how we're known by all as the leaders. And if you're my type, whether you like it or not, and that's one of the reasons why we are the natural leaders, because we don't want to have control over one. We want to move forward. We don't want to, like, say the previous ideal and the way everything was how does he put it in the video? I'll put the video in the description again. Like, to dethrone, to de-level, like, to bring something down, that's to them to prove. It doesn't matter if what they did, you're like, oh yeah, I can see now that we can do this and that. If they can persuade you that you're an idiot and they don't have a solution, it's just to bring you down, and that's them to prove, because they're just the critics. They're the life-weary cowards. And to bring the frenzy, that's for them to persuade. Yeah, fuck them. Bring yourself back to yourself. There's many layers. Soul, higher being, deeper being, the flesh, all your chakras. That's really where it's at, is on all levels of yourself activated all. And you're fashioned from clay. And don't try to prove anything to these fucking poisonous flies. Just have fun with them, if anything. And fuck them. They're easily persuaded. You can get them to do whatever you want if you are so inclined, because they're just looking for the feeling of importance. Also, the feeling of safety. Not safety, the feeling of safety.